Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Raw CyKnick. I'm here with Raw Hebrew Remnant, the one, the only, the wise. How you doing?
Good, Cynic. How are you, my brother?
Good. Well, let's start off on kind of a topic that all Knicks fans are thinking about. Do you think Donovan Mitchell's like a real possibility?
No, as I mentioned in my blog, in my own vlog before coming on your prestigious blog, no, I don't think it's realistic for us to look at Donovan Mitchell. Some situations are difficult. I'm not saying anything is impossible, but what it would cost the Knicks, I think, is a prohibitive reason why you won't see Donovan Mitchell in the Knicks uniform. Not this summer.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And the thing with that for me is you're going to be having to give away so many core pieces that what you're going to make around Donovan Mitchell, I don't think is going to be very much better than what they've been able to put around him in Utah. And we've kind of seen where that's gone, you know?
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell so he's 25, right?
Right.
So if you're looking at a $163 million player, that's what he is. He's every bit of a $163 million player. You're either going to A, do what Utah did, draft him and build around him, or B, you're going to develop a team whereby in 3 years, when he can decide to leave, he wants to join you as your final piece to a championship. And the Knicks are not in either position. We didn't draft him, and it's not 3 years. So right now we're trying to find our own footing.
Right.
And so a guy like that, you would, again, he could opt out in 3 years. So when he's 28, he could opt out. And if he does that and he's the final piece and he still wants to come here, it'd be something we want to look at.
Yeah, I mean I think that's the more realistic thing to think about too. It's not that long away, and you know that gives the Knicks the ability to actually have something to put around them, you know.
Right, right, right. See, that's what you're looking for. So like in the Toronto Raptors with Kawhi, they had a team already. They just couldn't get over the hump. So they replaced DeMar DeRozan with Kawhi Leonard championship.
Now, I've also heard something that I thought was pretty interesting, I guess would be a good way to put it. But I heard, well, obviously, we all heard that Rudy Gobert was like, whether those rumors were true or not, because I think he went on Twitter afterwards and kind of dispelled them. But he's unhappy, Donovan Mitchell and him don't really like each other. I've heard people talking about the Knicks going after Gobert.
So Gobert, if I'm not mistaken, he costs even more than Mitchell. If I'm not mistaken, Rudy Gobert's contract is around 200 million.
Wow.
So why do we want to talk about him? I mean, so look, I understand he's an elite defender, right? He's an elite defender. But so you're going to give up $14 million a year, Mitchell Robinson, in order to sign $30 million a year, Rudy Gobert? Does that make any sense? I mean, really, is he that guy that's going to like transform the whole team and cause us to be pushing toward the Eastern Conference Finals? Not only that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's 30. Let me see. He's 29. He's going to be 30 this summer. So he doesn't even fit the timeline, right? So let me just make an assumption. Let me make an assumption, Cynic. If I am building around RJ Barrett, who's 21,
right,
I'm looking for players in their 20s, right? Probably like Donovan Mitchell would fit the timeline better than Gobert because he's 25. Mm-hmm. But as I said, that's prohibitive too because Utah drafted him and they're building around him. He's the franchise. So, but Gobert is not. And so for us as Knicks, we're looking for younger guys, like center. Let me just put this without naming names so nobody go crazy. But younger centers that have NBA experience.
So Mitchell Robinson.
Right, Mitchell Robinson, exactly. Now, if we got stupid, I'm saying if we got stupid and didn't sign him, you got like, and they wouldn't be superstars. You don't need superstars.
No.
Bryant at on Washington, or Mo Bamba, or Jackson Hayes, or guys like that, young guys that have been in the league for 2 or 3, 4 seasons and can adequately defend the rim the way Thibodeau likes it
Yeah.
and not cost a ton.
Yeah, I know that these rumors have been out there before, but the Mo Bamba thing is pretty interesting to me, just because the Knicks like to go after guys who have like the hometown connection, first of all. Second of all, he can defend, and I think Thibodeau would like that, even though, we have him there just for continuity's sake. But Thibodeau, but
Right.
and
Right.
he can, he has he has more of an offensive game than than Mitch Robb, our starting center for the last few years, that has had, which I think could be good for RJ, especially because he kind of unclogs the paint just a tiny bit more. I think that like having that mid-range up for a center is like really important for RJ.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like, we have 2 players that actually clog the paint, and we'll talk about the other one later that we really should be getting rid of, because Gobert doesn't clog the paint for Donovan Mitchell, right? I mean, he doesn't, and he's a low post player. So if you got one guy that's a low post guy, I don't think he clogs it up too much. But if you got 2 front court guys that are clogging it a little bit, then you might have a problem. There,
Right.
I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench here. There's another player on Orlando, depending on who they pick in this draft, because they're in the top 4.
Yeah.
Depending on who they pick in this draft, there's another player that might be available. And I don't know how we would fit him in, but Jonathan Isaac is really good. He's really good, and he hasn't played in 2 seasons because of his knees.
Right.
Um,
He was really,
and I think
before
they
he got
extended
injured.
him.
Excuse me. Sorry, keep going.
No, I was just saying, and I think they just, before his knee injury, he hurt himself in the bubble. So I think that was 2 years ago. So they extended him, I think, right before that. I think they extended him. So, but he would be interesting. He would be very interesting.
He was balling out before, not balling out, but playing decent basketball. But right before he tore up his knee.
Right.
So yeah, and it's hard to think of somebody more ideal for a Thibodeau guy than him.
I mean, to me, he checks all my boxes, because not only is he a defensive stopper, he's a Florida State kid. I like guys that was anybody coached by Leonard Hamilton. I'm gonna give him a second look, because I like what he produces, man. So, and now Isaac is going to be 25 this fall. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, he's a little bit of he's a little bit of a religious fanatic, but that's his business. As long as he steps on the court and plays, I can't say nothing about that.
Yeah,
but he's along the lines like IQ is, like, he's very religious.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's his business. As far as balling, he could ball though. Jonathan Isaac could ball. I like him. So that would be an interesting thing, although I don't know what we'd be giving up to get him.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you know what his extension was? I don't.
I'm trying to look it up now. Let me see his extension. What did he sign? He signed. I know. Let's see. They didn't say. I'm looking here in Wikipedia. I don't see anything here. I got to look up. Hang on. Let me look up Spotrac. They signed him. He's halfway through a $52 million deal. He's not bad at all. He's got 2 years. Let me see. He's got 2 years. He got 34 million, 17.4. Basically, that's Evan Fournier money. He's got 2 years at 17. No, I'm sorry. He's got 3 years at 17 million, 17.4 million. That's what he's got. He's got 3 years at 17.4 million this year, and 2 more years to that. Which is, I mean, that's not bad. That's maybe not bad.
Fournier and the Magic have a little reunion.
Yeah, maybe they will. That would be good. No, but I don't know how we would do it, honestly. I really don't know.
No,
but They don't want Randall, obviously. So they, the reason they would be trading Isaac is because they have too many power forwards. If they drafted Chet Holmgren, for example, and they already got Wendell Carter, and so I don't know what they do there, but I think he would be available because they cannot play those three guys on the floor together because they really like Franz Wagner for good reason at their 3 spot. And so, yeah, so somebody would have to go. So I would think they really like Wendell Carter also at the 5. So, yeah, I think Isaac would be the odd man out, which would be tough because they're deep at that position, man. But he's really good, man. I mean, defensively, he's a Thibodeau dude. He handles in the open floor. He rebounds. I like him.
Yeah. What is he, 6'8" too? He's
6'11".
He's 6'11"
with a 7'2" wingspan.
I did not know. I knew it was tall. I didn't realize it was that tall.
Isaac is ridiculous, man.
That's insane.
Ridiculous. Yeah, he's really insane, man. I mean, yeah. He's 6'11" with a 7-foot plus wingspan and mobile and everything you want in a 4. I'm not saying he would take Obi's place. I don't know, maybe you play them. Now, you could play them together.
Yeah, I mean, dude's 6'11", like.
You could play them together because who he's about the same size as? He's a little bit shorter than Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, true.
But he plays the 4. So I mean, obviously,
like literally any strength than like nothing is better than Nerlens Noel. Like.
Exactly. Exactly, man. Exactly. So I don't know. If Mitch Robb was leaving and we had Jericho as our backup, I would not mind.
No,
having Jonathan Isaac come in there and him and Obi could start. Man. Talk about opening the floor, my God.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting.
Those 2 thoroughbreds can run the floor all day, man. They just need a point guard to make sure he sees them. But man. Well, anyway, that's my dream.
Yeah,
I don't know how real it is. That's my dream.
The crazy thing about projecting these trades and stuff, it's like you never really know when there's going to be some kind of like crazy like 4-team deal where like
exactly,
so it's just like hopefully he can find his way to the Knicks for sure. I'd be
who knows, man. That would be a deal though. But yeah, especially I'm assuming he comes back 100%,
yeah,
but he's been out 2 seasons, so
but he's young enough where he can heal from it.
Exactly. It happened to him when he was 22, 23, something like that. So
yeah,
he can come back.
It's like, if it happens when you're that young, it'll set you back a few years, but he's still in his prime. So
absolutely.
Anyway, so we're talking about trades. We're trying to see what can match up. Is there anything that you can see matching up with Randall?
That's where my Malcolm Brogdon thing comes.
Yeah.
See, Malcolm Brogdon kills 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Because his salary and Julius' salary match up. Indiana just traded Sabonis. I could say Randall is a little bit, I don't know. Him and Sabonis are very similar, though, very similar. But I don't know. I would have Randall for Malcolm Brogdon. That fits perfectly. And I'd want to pick from Indiana. The reason I'd want to pick is because Brogdon is extremely injury prone. So you got to give me a pick. Julius Randle, say what you want about him. He don't miss many games. He's as solid as a brick house. So he's going to be there. So that's what I'd want. Maybe give me a 2nd rounder and Malcolm Brogdon, or late 1st and Malcolm Brogdon for Julius Randle. That works, man. I would do that. I would do that in a heartbeat. Now I'm sure that's not the only trade, but that's the one that comes off the top of my head because we got a point guard, and I'm not worried about my man Deuce getting time because Brogdon is definitely going to get hurt. There's no question. So I'm 100%. I am so confident. I am so confident he's going to miss at least 25 games. I am so confident of that.
So that's the ideal pick for Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Ideal pickup.
Because Thibodeau will play him 35, 40 minutes, and he's going to get hurt. Then we're going to go to our new crew right there. There you go.
Yeah, and they're durable, man.
Yep. Yep.
And I could not think of a better team in town to play in for Randall than in Indiana.
I know.
No, don't worry about the media, man. Like,
No, there's no media there for him to worry about. You don't have to be thumb down in nobody either. I mean, I think he'd be in good shape over there.
yeah, so that'll be good for him if he does end up there. I think that could be very beneficial to his own mental health, to be honest.
Absolutely. Now, I also like before they got Sabonis, so I don't know how it goes now, but the Kings are stupid. But so let's go with Randall for Harrison Barnes also. I like that because Harrison Barnes is expiring and he is a good backup to O. So he was a solid pro. He plays his game. He doesn't whine and complain. He does his job. And so this is his last year at like 25 million. You know, and he can also be a trade chip at the deadline. Maybe we can get a first for him for a playoff team. So that kind of stuff. I like that perfectly as well. But the Kings just did get Sabonis, and they really believe that Sabonis and Fox are going to be a dynamic duo going forward. So I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah. I mean, they got to stick with him after the first game with him, and Fox like bear hugged him.
Oh my God. Not only that, you traded Tyrese Halliburton for him.
Well, that's
going to go down as one of the worst trades in this decade. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you had seen this when it happened, but there was like a screenshot of the Sacramento Kings like Reddit page and it was just like all people were just
they were just finished, right? With it.
Yeah, management. I mean, like talk about, we have it bad as Knicks fans, it's been a little better. Honestly, last season was not what we expected, but it's still better than most of the years we've had.
No, man, I'm gonna tell you, Sacramento is like Isaiah-esque in terms of their front office. It's really bad. I mean, it's just bad.
You want to know a funny story? When I was a kid, I was at my friend's pool and my dad comes running, or he calls me. He's like, they're blowing up my phone. This is like 2007. So I'm pretty young, but he's like, you gotta come get into the road. I'm coming to pick you up. I'm coming to pick you up. He's like, and grab a basketball. I'm like, okay, I'll grab a basketball. I have no clue what's going on. We drive to this ice cream shop and it's Isaiah Thomas. Dude.
Oh my gosh. He was there?
Yeah, it was him. Oh. I met him, bro. I had like ice cream with him, and my dad was like, "Yeah, I saw him in the street." He asked me where to get ice cream at, and then so I was like, "Go there. I'll be right there." I'm grabbing my.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, so that was crazy. And then
did he sign something? Did he sign something?
Yeah, I got a ball signed.
Okay. Oh, that's why. Okay, but the ball. Cool.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But it's like, so now I didn't fully comprehend everything that like went down then because I was like still pretty young.
Yeah.
So, but now I look back, I'm like, damn, I had an opportunity to go off. Like,
you know what? It's count your blessings that you were too young to understand how incompetent that guy was. Oh my gosh. Isaiah Thomas. So yeah, anyway. But the Kings management makes Isaiah look like a genius, man. Oh my God. How could you trade Tyrese Halliburton? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. And
they just gave Indiana a playoff backcourt with Duarte and Halliburton.
Well, it's I wish I could say it's surprising,
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
So moral of that story is we as Knicks fans have to feel a lot better than that.
Yeah. No, there's somebody worse.
and for longer, because the Knicks were that incompetent before, but
yeah,
at least it was in a shorter amount of time.
There's a much clearer vision of what they're doing going forward now than there practically than there ever was. Really, I mean, since long time.
I've been a fan, like really hardcore fan, since like 2010. Like I think I was like, I don't know, I don't even know. Not doing the math.
So you came when Carmelo came over?
Yeah. Okay. That's when I think that trade is like what got me kind of going. And then Linsanity happened, then I was like, then
Yeah,
I was like
yeah,
in. And
yeah.
so yeah, that was cool. I totally forgot where I was going with that, but
So we're talking about Randall trade.
oh yeah.
So
So
you got any? You got any? Because all I could think of is Harrison Barnes and Malcolm Brogdon. Now I know there's more out there. I just can't think of it right
I
now.
can think of a doomsday scenario that I've
All
heard.
right, what you got?
So I think this might have been like a pretty reputable like trade, like mock trade thing, but somebody was saying it was
Wait,
I
wait.
think
Does it involve Russell Westbrook? Oh my God. Okay, okay, go on, go on, go on.
yes, it was like it was basically I can't remember if there's any like change involved with the trade, but essentially, swap.
So Russell Westbrook is expiring this year, but he's expiring like 47 million. So really and truly, we could get rid of a lot of problems with Russell Westbrook, like because we need to match salary. So Randall would be like 26 million. We need another 21 million. We could get rid of they take Fournier, maybe. Okay, so right there, that's 43. I think we'd be close right there. I think that would get done. Fournier and Randall for Russell Westbrook, and give me some number one. And maybe we could do that. The problem, this is the problem I have with Westbrook. It's Thibodeau.
That I was just gonna say is
It's
can
Thibodeau.
he be trusted?
Yeah, it's Thibodeau because Westbrook doesn't get hurt. Like he doesn't miss a lot of games. So
No.
it's not like we get IQ and Deuce in there because like we would with Brogdon, but he'd be in there and Thibodeau would play him every minute of 48 minutes because Westbrook, okay, one of his best attributes is he does play hard for 48 minutes, but he's out of control wild and ball dominant and the ball doesn't move. And yeah, so there's all that.
Yeah, that's
If they were buying him out, okay, I do it. If they were buying him out, I do it. So in other words, if he
that'd be
came
the
to
largest buyout ever in the NBA.
maybe, but it's expiring, so it's okay. I mean, now I buy him out to trade them.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like
because
that.
then it'd be less at least, right?
Yeah, it'd be like 23 million.
Yeah,
So I'd buy him out to trade them. But that's the point. Like I would not keep him the whole season.
yeah. Thibodeau cannot be trusted with a
And
player.
I'd let Thibodeau know that. He's going at the trade them. So don't,
I think you'd still play him.
Dag, you're right though. Shoot.
I think he would, honestly.
Dag, that's my problem with that deal is that I don't like Westbrook's game right now. I think he's way past his prime. He's like at the stage where he thinks he's still 28 and he's not. And he's like a used car that looks really nice, but it's got 200,000 miles on it. It's just like
Carmelo Anthony on the Thunder.
yes. And he was laughing when they kept saying,
with Russell Westbrook.
He's like, oh, come up the bench.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that was I remember. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's Westbrook. So if you could tell me Tibbs is going to play Deuce and IQ and Roku Bitis and sit Westbrook, okay. Like I think they did that with Steve Francis. When Steve Francis came to the Knicks, they did that. They got him a big contract and he didn't play that much. If we could do something like that, okay. But yeah, I don't like the way with Tibbs. Oh man, I don't know, CyKnick. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know that's making the rounds, but that's more of an NBA 2K move that everybody, they're dreaming about the numbers working, and they do work, but I don't think the Knicks would do it. Matter of fact, if you recall, I think it was around the All-Star break. The Knicks leaked that they have no interest in Russell Westbrook. Like they have zero interest in him. So I don't think that's happening.
Well, let's hope that's.
Yeah, I don't think that's. So other than that, I'm trying to think. Well, Minnesota is another possible Randall destination because they could use a 4. They got Vanderbilt, who's good playing next to, but he's not Julius Randle. And they have Cat and Ant and D'Lo, who may not be there long, who knows? But they have Randle would be the third option on that team. Yeah, and I like that. I like that for him. He would be the third option. So Minnesota's
another good location for him too.
Yeah, Minnesota's another opportunity here, and Minnesota I think has a number one they can give us. So that would be a good move. I'm only concerned with the matching salaries. They have to figure out how to do that. But maybe, I mean, shoot, you think the Knicks would take D'Angelo Russell?
I was just thinking, I mean, I possibly, I think at this point, that's a huge W, at least getting D'Angelo Russell for out of Randall.
And he's expiring. The thing
He's pretty
about
young
D'Angelo
though. He's
Russell,
pretty
the Knicks
young.
had a chance. The Knicks had a chance to get him before. When
Oh,
they said when he was traded to the Golden State Warriors, the Knicks had a chance to get him, but they didn't even make a move toward him. So I don't know if the Knicks manager is really into D'Angelo Russell. He's not a great defender. I mean, he's not even a
oh, he's got awful defender.
Yeah, so that's not a Tibbs thing. But what I like about him is he's ballsy. Like, he's not scared of the big moment.
We gotta remember though, anything's really in the question because Leon Rose did make Kemba Walker a starting point guard.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna make that mistake twice.
You better not.
Yeah, I don't think he would do that twice. I think he's smart enough to know, okay, I made that mistake once, let's not do that. So I don't think we can. D'Lo is, I think we can say defensively, he is not a Thibodeau type guy.
Something that I'm really happy about is like in the playoffs right now, I think that there's a lot of like validation to staying like building within your team and from within. Like you look at the Bucks, you look at the Heat have a bunch of young players like that. The Suns, although they have Chris Paul, but
even Golden State.
Even Golden State.
Big three were developed and drafted.
That's the perfect example of Golden State.
Yeah. So you have the Golden State, you got Memphis, you got like you mentioned, the Bucks, and even Philadelphia with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Those guys they drafted.
Yeah, so I think that's like we can have these we could talk about trading Russell Westbrook to the Knicks, but I think that we all kind of know deep down that we gotta stay with that formula because getting these superstars and putting them together and getting 3 guys or 2 guys and it's better supporting cast, it's not really working anymore.
Well, it doesn't work anymore. I mean, look at the Nets, right?
Right.
But also, it's just see, LeBron spoiled everybody because LeBron did that when he went to Miami and they won 2 championships, right? And every place he's been since, that's what he's been doing. He went to Cleveland and he got him and Kyrie and Kevin Love and a bunch of minimum contracts. And he won a chip there. Then he went to Los Angeles and him and Anthony Davis and a bunch of minimum contracts. And they won in the bubble if you want to count that as a championship, but they did. So that's what he's been doing. But it really only works consistently for him. And it's not even working for him now because he's getting older, right? And so they weren't even that relevant this year. So it's really, as you mentioned, to me, it's about building your team within your draft. And it's not easy, but you got to have a good scouting unit, got to have good development, got to have a coach on board, and you got to develop your own guys.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the main concern we have with Tibbs is that and I think that most Knicks fans share this opinion, is just like he does not operate within that kind of timeline.
Right, he just doesn't. I mean, I'm looking at Chicago. Their second round pick, the Sumu, started half of their games this year.
Yeah, I saw it. I went to the I think it was the second to last regular season Bulls-Bucks game in Chicago, and seeing Ayo Dosunmu live was crazy. He is an insane defender, really good defender.
Yep.
And he had a few lobs to like Levine, throwing up some good dunks. It was a great game to be at. But I would assume it was the real deal on defense for sure.
Yeah, and he actually was the year before last when he came out. It was his second trip trying to come out. He came out the first time and went back. He just wasn't ready, and then he got himself better, and he came out last year, and he played his butt off this year. He's really worked hard and played well. So, not everybody's one and done, and some guys, really work hard their second year, and they come out.
Quentin Grimes.
That's right. Quentin Grimes is another one. So, and there's a few guys in this year's draft that's taking their second stab at it. So, That's what I'm saying. You get a guy like the Sumo was on the Knicks, he'd be doing G League.
Yeah, that's what's really sad about it. I think he was 2 picks after McBride.
Exactly.
Mr.
Mr. Thibodeau, you gotta love him.
Yeah, he's an interesting decision maker to say that.
Yeah, no, I mean, so as far as Randall, Minnesota's a possible, I think. The Kings are a slight possible. Now they got Sabonis, is less so. And you got Indiana also. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody as a 4. Now, if I think it's probably a lot that what's his name comes back to Milwaukee, Bobby Portis, unless somebody offers him a lot of money. So they would be a problem, but then they don't have the cap space. They have to trade somebody. So I think those 3 teams are the best for Randall. Oh, unless, well, I was going to say you might want to look at, I would have looked at Zion's team if Zion wasn't in a hurry to sign the extension, which he is.
Yeah, that squashed. I bet that broke a lot of Knicks fans.
Yep, that's squashed. That's out the door. So so those 3 teams are possibilities for Julius. Oh, well, let's not forget Detroit as well, because I heard that Grant may not stay.
Interesting.
He's
that would open up the spot for him.
Yeah, he's also expired. So
there you go. And I mean, we can never rule out the Mavs.
No, you can never rule out the Mavs. That's
they
correct.
love poaching the Knicks players.
Exactly. They like the Knicks players. So, all right. So that's Randall. But the bottom line is they could trade him. There's nothing stopping them from trading him. He could be traded this summer. And I think they're going to have to do something. I mean, I know people want him to stay. There's a large base in Knicks Nation that loves Julius Randle, even with all the antics he pulled this past season. But realistically, you cannot expect Obi to ride the pine again this next season after what he did at the end of this season. You got to give him either start him or trade him. So if I'm Obi's rep, that's what I'm saying. You drafted him 8th overall, start him or trade him. And you can't play him and Randall together too long because it's not effective. Even Thibodeau said that. So I think they must trade one of them this summer. And I'm thinking it's going to be Julius Randle. And we'll see what happens. But you can't bring both of them back into camp.
No, it's not. Honestly, it's not fair to either of them.
No, it's not. It's not. And they did. And Leon's, his first draft pick as a Knicks president was Obi. So I can't see them trading Obi.
Yeah, and I hope that's the case. Mm-hmm. And I've heard some people also try to illegitimize the games that Obi played because it was at the end of the season and whatnot. But I think that if you're showing out that hard, it speaks for itself.
What was it? It was 2019, 42 and 35 or something like that.
I know. I'm pretty sure the 42 was the last one.
And then he had a 30-something point there, didn't he, in that 5-game stretch?
Yeah, he had a 35.
Yeah. Okay. So he had 35. He had a 20, 19, 35, 42, something like that. Hey, listen, man, it's the NBA. I don't care if it's the end of the season. It's the NBA. I'm not saying he's going to average. Nobody's thinking Obi's going to average 30 a game right now. But listen, I think we can expect 18, 8 rebounds, somewhere like that, running the floor, putting pressure on the defense. And I think his defense is tremendous energy. And I think his defense is underrated. Obi has gotten a tremendous amount better. He would not be seeing the floor if his defense had not improved. And so he at least gives you effort every time. Right. Whereas Randall gives you effort when he feels like it.
Yeah, somebody's got to make it I bet there will be some kind of documentary about how far Julius Randle went up and how far he fell, because it is really a wild story. I mean,
no, it's not the first time. You see it a lot. When you see guys on their contract years, that's when you see a lot of guys have career years in their contract years. Then they usually go back to whatever they were before.
Yeah, I think maybe for me, it's just he was so low. I think that maybe it's not even really the play almost as much as that he was just so loved and then so hated in such a short amount of time.
Well, New York Nation, the Knicks Nation is very sensitive when a guy is, prima donna, or when a guy is trying to act like he earned something that he didn't. Like he was trying to act like we should treat him like Patrick Ewing. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like Patrick Ewing, 11-time All-Star, like 6 or 7-time All-NBA, led us to the finals. You want us to treat you like him? Are you serious? Stop it. So I think he was like expecting that type of treatment. And Tibbs enabled him to think it.
Big.
But he said, come on, one nice season in your contract year. Let's get over yourself. Come on.
I like to say Tom Thibodeau enables Julius Randle like a husband on my 600-pound life.
That's right. That's right. Just go to 700. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Here, have another Twinkie. You deserve it.
Pretty much.
Raise your hand today. Oh my God.
So another rumor that's been going around is Jalen Brunson. That's a big one, big on Knicks Twitter. Everybody's talking Jalen Brunson.
All right. So listen, CyKnick, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're drafted by Dallas.
Yes.
Okay. So you're sitting in you can't even go to the green room because you weren't drafted into the second round. And Dallas takes you. Okay. You're a national champion at Villanova. You're a born proven leader your whole life. So you get drafted by Dallas and they give you the opportunity. You're in the rotation. Okay. Now, all of a sudden, here you are in your 4th season. Now, last summer, you would have signed 4-year, $55 million if they'd offered to you, but they didn't offer. They wanted to see how you played. You start balling out, get to the All-Star break, and they say, hey, listen, here's the $55.6 million. And now you're saying, nah, I can get more money. But so now you're looking, now you're in the playoffs. You've already had a 40-point game in the first round. And you've been really balling in the playoffs here. Now I think they're all tied up with Phoenix, 2-2.
Yes.
So now you're worth at least 80 million. Are you staying with Dallas? And Dallas is going to pay you. They're going to pay you whatever you ask.
Oh, Knicks, man. I feel like I'm really trying to put myself there.
So now your dad.
But it just depends. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It depends on,
What your dad is like. Your dad is like, well, your dad used to play for the Knicks. Your dad was an assistant under Tom Thibodeau. Your dad's agent was the Knicks president of basketball operations. Or are you going to stay with the team that drafted you? Because Dallas got that family thing going. Right. No drama in Dallas. They got the family thing going. You're all fam under Mark Cuban. You know what I'm saying? So what do you want to do? So, I mean, like, okay, so with the Knicks, he would get the keys to the car. Boom, done. You're the man. You're the point guard. Here's the key. With Dallas, though, he'd be closer to winning the championship.
That's also a factor I was going to say is, it's not very often you get to play with a guy like Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic comes around every 10 years. Really, Luka Doncic type player comes around every 10 years. A guy that was dominating Europe when he was 15 years old.
Yeah,
because you think about it, they don't have. I mean, really, they got the old Knicks and Luka. That's what they got, and they're pushing Phoenix, last year's Western Conference finalists, 2-2.
Yeah, that would be an upset, man.
So I know if it was me, if I'm being objective, I would stay with Dallas and try to win this championship with Luka.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's like saying, are you gonna leave pre-prime LeBron?
No. Especially if you're getting paid too.
I know. So you're gonna still get your money, regardless. You're getting your money. So do you want your own team, or do you want chips? And you know who made that decision a few years ago and it backfired on him? Kyrie Irving, right? He's with LeBron and they win a chip. But he said, I want my own team. And they sent him to Boston. And Boston actually played better with Scary Terry than they played with Kyrie. And so that didn't work out. He wanted his own team. So now he comes to the Nets. He wants to team up with Durant. And look, did they make the play-in? I mean, did they get, where did they go? I don't know. AC, I don't know. But they didn't go anywhere. So I'm saying, if I'm going to win a chip now, I'm staying in Dallas. I mean, if I was him, I'm just being real. And somebody said to me today, you never wanted Jalen. You know what? You're right. I never wanted Jalen. But I can tell you, Jalen is better as a point guard than Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock. I'm not Reggie Bullock, Alec Burks. So I'm not saying he's better than IQ. I really can't say that because we haven't given IQ a chance, to really show as the guy. And I definitely obviously favor Deuce. So I'd rather not spend $80 million on Jalen Brunson, but I'm not going to complain and argue if they did. I'm not going to come back and say, see, I told you shouldn't. Like a lot of Knicks fans, 2020, I'm sure you shouldn't have signed him 2 years from now. If they signed him, I'll be all right with that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. That's all. I would. And if I'm Jalen, I'm staying in. I'm comfortable in Dallas. I like Dallas. They like me now. They're going to pay me. I'm next to I'm next to a generational talent in Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Unless Luka's a real a-hole, then that would make a difference.
I think he seems pretty.
I know him and KP didn't get along.
Yeah, but that's KP.
Is that KP? I don't know.
It's gotta be. Everybody loves Luka, I think.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? KP's brother's a jerk. So
KP was pissed that Rick Carlisle wouldn't let him play in the post. He only had him shooting threes and in the dunker spot.
Well, probably because he knew if he did anything else, he'd be break in half and you have to sit him for 30, which is what happened anyway.
Yeah. It is. Oh man. Yeah.
No, but see, so I am really thinking Brunson's going to stay in Dallas. I'm really thinking he's going to stay in Dallas and then combine that. Does Leon Rose really overpay for anybody?
Not yet.
That's right. I don't think he's going to start now. So I'm thinking he's thinking, okay, here's this 80 million and here's the keys to the Knicks. Do you want that? And I'm thinking, my man Cube's going to say, here's this 90 million and you get to stay with Luka. Do you want that? And I think he takes the 90 and stays next to Luka.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But hearing you list off all the connections that he has to New York, it's pretty crazy.
It is pretty strong, but yeah, remember now, he's been in Dallas 4 seasons.
True. You think of him as a younger player than that, but it's his 4th season.
He's 25. I think he's gonna be 26 this summer. So he's been in Dallas for 4 full seasons. So it's not like, he's not a journeyman. He's been on this team. He was developed on this team. And he knows the guys on this team, Kleber and what's the other guy they got playing 5? I forgot.
Finney Smith?
No, him too. And Finney Smith's the 4, but who's the other guy? There's another guy they got playing the 5. Who is that? It's hold on, I'll tell you. It is, I'll tell you right now. Dwight Powell.
Oh yeah.
He's played with Dwight Powell for a minute. He played with Kleber for a minute. These are guys he knows. Then Tim Hardaway, Luka, of course. Those are Dory Finney-Smith. Those are the core guys that he's been with for, most of his career. So It would be hard, I don't know. I just tend to believe that given all of that, even with his dad's, see, that's his father's history. That's not his history.
True. That's a
that's his father's history. That's different. And as much as I'm sure he respects his father, I don't know.
You're not going to do everything.
Then let me ask you this: if you're the agent, where are you steering him? Because you're the agent.
That's, as the agent, that's a pretty hard question. You have the much higher possibility of success in Dallas, as a team and, just getting the playoffs and stuff.
Yeah.
But if he does absolutely ball out in New York City, that's the biggest market to ball out.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? You got a point there, Cynic, because if he does ball out in New York, he becomes a god.
Yeah. So I think that the financial opportunities are probably better in New York, I would say.
You might be right. You might be right about that because yeah, for a guy like him, because it's not like let's take Luka Doncic. No matter where Luka Doncic plays in the NBA, he's gonna get his money because he's
Oh, yeah.
international already, right? So he's international. So he's gonna get his money. But Jalen Brunson is not international.
No.
So he would probably benefit more in New York. To be quite honest, he would get more off-court money in New York than he would. And then don't let him lead you. Look, how did the city respond to one playoff win?
Oh my God.
Can you imagine him leading us to win a series in the playoff? Oh my God. Yeah, you know what? I gotta rethink that. That's going to be tough. It's 50-50, man.
If you're the agent, it's a real tough decision.
And you know, it's 50-50. Now, I have to believe that being in Dallas 4 years counts for something. So I say he's got to be comfortable there. Like he's probably comfortable in Dallas, right? I mean, he's never played in New York as a guy. So that would be a big challenge. But then again, a guy like that likes a challenge. Like I said, it's 50-50. I would have to go 50-50 on this. It really is 50-50, man.
It is. But the other thing about Dallas is you're always going to be in Luka's shadow.
That's exactly right. But Luka, why wouldn't you be? Because
you have to. No, everybody would.
Yeah, Luka's he's a generational talent. So it's not like they just. It's not like IQ and Deuce, where IQ can throw up 5 air balls and he's still going to play, and Deuce turns the ball over and you won't see him for 5 games. Luka is a guy, like he is a generational dude. So anybody that plays there is gonna play in his shadow, and rightfully so. He's a generational talent. Yeah, so so you gotta expect that. And like I say, if you want to win, you gotta have a guy like that. I mean, just to be drafted a guy like that. I mean, look at them. If they get, I will tell you what. Let me handicap. If they beat the Suns in the second round, he's staying in Dallas.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You see what I'm saying? Like if they beat the Suns, wouldn't that mean they're going to the Western Conference Finals, right?
Yes.
He's staying in Dallas. He's a major piece on a conference finals team. I think he stays in Dallas.
Yeah, I think that you can't just walk from that success.
Right. Now, if he loses to Phoenix, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
That's what I look at.
Before the playoffs, there's like, I feel like most of Knicks Twitter was like it's a done deal.
No, I thought so. I thought it was going to happen. I wouldn't. Some people were saying it's inevitable. I wouldn't say inevitable, but I gave it 75% chance he'd been in New York before the playoffs.
Yeah.
But after the first round, that shrunk tremendously. And now if they beat Phoenix, no, he's staying in Dallas.
Yeah,
I
think so.
He's staying in Dallas if they beat him now. That's what leads me to the Malcolm Brogdon possibility, because Brogdon is not going to start. You're starting Duarte with Tyrese Halliburton. And don't let him draft Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some moves.
No, Brogdon is out. Brogdon is out. So I think he's got 2 years left on his deal. So we'd have to deal with him for 2 years. But like I said, I mean, knowing our guy Tibbs, he will play that guy until he's hurt, which should happen, according to my calculations, somewhere around the 25th game. And he'll miss about 20 games. And so we're going to get Deuce time and we're going to get IQ time. But Brogdon, let's see, where's this cat? Let me see here. And he, not only that, okay, so Brogdon, his contract ends at the end of, wait, am I right? Am I reading this right? Oh, no, we got 2 more seasons of him. 22.5 million for the next 2 seasons. Actually, 3 more seasons. He's got 1 more at 22.6, and then he's got 2 more at 22.5. So so we got 3 seasons in him. But I'm really not concerned. See, I would be worried that they would steal minutes from one of our guys, but I'm not worried about him, man. I'm not worried about him.
That's when you know you got a good coach. When you purposely draft injured players.
Exactly.
So he plays the right guys.
Just to get rid of Randall. So we get rid of Randall. We get Malcolm in here. He's the starter, and no problem. But Deuce, get ready, baby. You're gonna be playing.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a possibility. You know, it does match up with Randall. And
yeah, because Dallas is not doing a sign and trade. They said that already. So JB would not be going to New York for Randall or for Mitch Rob or anybody. It's just he would just come here. Which, like I said, they're going to put all their chips in the table, and they're going to offer him an overpay to stay. And if they get past Phoenix, It's locked. It's a lock. He's staying in Dallas. Other than that, it's 50-50. But see, that's why I bring up Robin, because I want IQ. Really, my thing, I want us to just get rid of all ideas of anybody and just play Emmanuel quickly, Deuce McBride, and bring Roku Jokovitis in here. And I want to see what they have over this next season. I say just let them play, man. Let them play. Let them turn the ball over. Let them make their mistakes, and let's see what we got here.
Yeah, I that's completely right. And I feel like the fans really, after seeing Thibodeau, as you say, trot out those same guys over and over.
Only to say after the season, you know, I wish I had played some of the other guys. I was like, dude, come on, man. Come on, man. But that's what I'm saying, because now look.
Shout out to Nick of Time Show for having Mark Berman on.
Yes. Oh my God. I gained a lot of respect. I used to hate Berman. I don't hate him anymore. I dislike what he does, but I like him as
I agree with you. I
like him as a guy. I mean, he's
I really respected him more after this little media tour that he did.
And when he said he doesn't block anybody, that takes a lot of brass ones right there. This guy, I said, you gotta give guy respect. Like, to me, he does stir up drama unnecessarily, which I always feel is detrimental to the locker room if they let it get to him. Knicks don't.
Well, he's probably, especially with Randall, he's probably directly impacted losses.
Yes. He's impacted the thumbs down, right? I mean, that was him. But I still respect him. But the thing is that I just want, it's not like, see, if the Knicks were, if they were Memphis, that's, people hate when I make that comparison. I don't know why, but if the Knicks were Memphis and they were in the second round of the playoffs and they lost to Golden State, okay, now I might say, okay, we might bring in a veteran that can step in here and get us to the next level real quick because we're right there. But we're not there. We're trying to make sure we're in the AC next year. So why not try these kids out there and see what we have? I mean, there's going to be a play-in. Let's see what we got, man.
And that's the most financially, the least financially taxing option.
And then you got, like, for example, let's say we did get an expiring deal like a Harrison Barnes or somebody.
Yeah.
Now you got all of this money for 2023, right? So let's say Deuce is a complete flop. Like, he just can't play in the NBA. Like, we know we made a mistake. Well, you know what? Now we found out before we got extended.
Right.
Or we got a star. We have a star in IQ. We got a star in Deuce. We hit the jackpot. We got 2 more years without having to pay Deuce. And we got like another, IQ's gonna be in his 3rd season. So his 4th season, he starts being extension eligible. So, at least we can see what we have. So that's all I'm saying. Right?
Yeah. And you never want to close the door on, a good trade. But I feel like getting a guy like Brunson, he's a great player. But I think that's kind of like a quick fix, like a kind of like a Band-Aid that's not going to really like last. I mean, he might, but I mean, I feel like the overall problems of the Knicks, like that's just kind of like a Band-Aid over it. And like,
no, you want to know about a real Band-Aid? Anybody talking about Tyus Jones is, I mean, like, are you serious? I mean, what? So we're gonna bring in a bench guy to start over our bench guys. We just did that with Alec Burks.
And Alfred Payton.
Oh my gosh. Like, people didn't learn anything. Oh, Tyus Jones they're intrigued by. What do you smoke? That's a strong crack right there. That's a strong crack, man. Because come on, man. Like, at least Brunson is showing as a starter in the playoffs, he could drop 40 on. Okay. Tyus Jones is a really good backup. And that's what he is, a really good backup. We got to see what we got in the kids we got.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Tyus Jones stuff really just goes to show you at this point how low the bar is set for.
No, that's like, you ever been to a party? I don't know if your age goes to parties. You guys go to parties, house parties? You guys have house parties?
Oh, yeah.
Back in my day, they did all kind of house parties, right? So like, you go in there to get a girl, right? You go in there to get a girl. but you're
Right.
just too shy to go talk to the ones that you really want to talk to, right? So at the end of the night, it's like 1 a.m. and there's this one. She's not the prettiest, but she's the only thing there. And you're bold enough to go and talk to her because you've been waiting all night for somebody. And that's Tyus Jones. She's the girl that you see at the party at 1 a.m. She's the last girl there. And yeah, that's
And
it.
there's no choices left. You're both just kind of awkwardly staring at each other.
Exactly. And you don't even think she's real pretty, but she's the last girl there.
Right. Well, anything's possible. We had Kemba Walker as our starting point guard last
I
year.
just hope they learn from that. Please learn.
Yeah.
Please don't make that mistake again. Don't do it, Leon.
Well, yeah, I think that's a good place to cap off the first episode. It was great having you on. We'll
Honored
do
to
this.
be here, bro.
Yeah.